Some interesting stuff is starting to take shape for this draft coming up. Please hit the like button. Big Sills here. Just a couple minutes ago, the Denver Broncos have picked up the 5th-year option on Patrick Surtain. Something I thought they would do. So follow me here. Surtain the next 2 years is under the same structure as Devontae Smith. Okay? 6.4, 14.5. The next 2 years. You wouldn't have to pay the guy until the 3rd year. 5th-year option is 14.5. I mean, you got 2 years of pretty much a rookie contract for the top corner in the league. Now, again, this is all under the premise that Denver wants to move. Okay? And what would Philly have to do to move up? Now, again, do you do a 3-team move? Do you move up to 16 where Seattle is from 22? You send the 22nd pick and you send the 53rd pick to Denver. The 16th pick and the 53rd pick to Denver. Denver parlays that, and they move up to take their quarterback if they so see one they like. And you get Surtain. You still have a 2nd-round pick. And you have the best cover corner. You take a linebacker and Percy Wilson, and you have Surtain on your defense, change the entire landscape of your defense and the entire outlook of it. And got to remember something. Fangio drafted him for a reason. Do you understand the kind of quarterback he could be back? He could be like Jalen Hurts for you in the secondary, and he could be telling everybody exactly what Vic Fangio wants to accomplish. Control and contain. Again, here's what I would do. Being reported they want to move up. Okay, great. And this is all under the premise that Denver likes a particular quarterback. This is not. Now, I think this is plan maybe C. But you want to try to get this one. This is plan C. But I'm going to start with plan C. Go like this. Move up. Move up to 16 from 22. You send the 16th pick and the 53rd pick to Denver for Patrick Surtain. The Broncos parlay the 16th pick they got from Philly and their current 1st-round pick, which is 12, move up to 3, grab their quarterback, Drake May. If they like him. New England gets their picks. Denver gets their quarterback. Philadelphia gets their cornerback. Then with the 50th pick, you draft your linebacker. So you would have Surtain, a fresh new linebacker toy for Vic. You have addressed needs, and you cover the cornerback position with the way that Howie has covered the cornerback position. How? Not in the draft. His last 8 drafts, he hasn't drafted corner but once. In the last 8 years, he hasn't drafted one. They do it unconventionally in free agency. Doesn't this go down the line of what this guy does? I mean, I'm going by his nature. Joe goes, it seems like a lot of moving parts. Well, I think hey, Joe, to get a guy like Patrick Surtain, I think you have to have a lot of creative moving parts. I don't think you just go straight up and go, here's A.J. Brown for Surtain, because then you're like this. I don't know, man. I mean, do I really want to give up that for that? I mean, look, I need Surtain more than I need Brown, but I don't want to get rid of Brown. He's in the middle of his career. No brainer. Go get him, Howie. That you need another dance partner, in my opinion, to make that happen. And Yale, check this out. So I move up to 16 to get the kid Mitchell from Toledo. That's a crapshoot. When I could get the surefire corner, that's an all-pro corner. For a draft pick where I'm going to go like this, I've not been very good in the draft. I've pointed out to you in the last 2 drafts that they have stunk on defense. And they traditionally do things unconventional at corner. I'm not saying anything that he doesn't do. John Elway's not the GM any longer. I forget the guy's name. It's new management. I forget the guy's name up there now. I don't think it's Joe Ellis. It might be. I don't remember the guy's name up there. It could be still Joe Ellis. That's the GM in Denver still. It might be Joe. I agree with trading for Surtain or picking the player. That's it. George Patton. George Patton. Thank you, guys. George Patton is general manager up there. How would you feel if we draft a running back and later picks? All good. I'd like to take a running back potentially with one of those 5th round picks. I don't think they're going to keep all those 5s. They may take 2 of those 5s and try to get in the 3rd round with them. Like 5th round picks, they're not bad. I mean, those are decent picks, but I would take 2 of them, maybe even 1 of them, maybe a 5th and a 6th, and try to get into the 3rd. I want to get into that 3rd round. The most productive round in pro football history is the 3rd, and they don't have a 3rd. I'd like to get in there and maybe take an edge rusher or one of those old linemen in there. I think 22 and one of those 2nd round picks for a future round pick will get it done. You think they'd have to offer? How about this, Prince? You know that Reddick pick? Would you throw the Reddick pick in there? Now you're gambling because if the Jets suck, which is a good chance, that could be a high quality 2nd round pick, like near a 1st. Like if the Jets blow in 25 and in the 26th draft, say the Jets are like a 5-win team and they're in the top 5. You know what that means? That's the 5th pick in the 2nd round. You're right there on the 2nd round of the 1st round. I don't know. I mean, right? You're counting on the Jets to get better. Well, if they don't and they're bad, that pick in 26 or whatever it is, 27, that could be if the Jets have the worst record in the NFL, which they have not played well the last decade, 2 decades, and say they're the 2nd or 3rd worst team, you're talking about the 34th pick in the draft. I mean, that's like a 1st rounder. I'm like, I don't know. That's a pretty big quality pick, plus the 22 and the 53rd. I don't know. That's a lot to give up for that. But Surtain is, I guarantee you, it's not going to be cheap. The Broncos need a quarterback. What's the point of Howie draft proofing free agency if we're going for need? Take the best player available at 22. The best player available at 22 doesn't help your defense immediately. So get this, and to your point, it's not bad thinking, a bit of life, but here, just in my last mock draft, Eagles take 22. They draft the second best corner. When you could have made a deal to try to get the best corner in the NFL. In your scenario, you're drafting the second best corner, Teron Arnold, in the draft, according to draft experts. Kid Mitchell's number 1. So you take the best player available at 22 and a need, or you're going to go O-line, address the offense and not address the defense. How much more are you going to address the offense and not address the defense? I'm not saying an O-lineman's not wrong because he's probably the best player you could take down there. But drafting the second best corner when I could go try to trade for the best corner. Hey, and here you've already made a call in this past November for him. The Broncos know you have interest along with the 49ers. I'm sure there's a ton of teams. You don't think that is one? Get this. Why in the world would the Broncos think of this? Everyone, why would the Broncos not wait to May 1st or 2nd or even next week, a week after the draft, to pick up that 5th-year option? Why do it the week of the draft? They're telegraphing he's available. You know how enticing that is now? Patrick Surtain is in play. The Broncos told you that today. You could have waited. How do you know you're not going to give him a new contract extension? They could have given him a contract extension. That's exactly right, Yale. The Broncos drove the price up today. You want him? You better come calling for him, and you better have a bag of victuals. Because if you don't, you're not going to be welcome into the conversation. Do you understand what's happened here? The Denver Broncos have told you that Patrick Surtain is in play by picking up his 5th-year option 3 days out from the draft. And now you get 2 years of still a rookie deal because of the option that's been picked up. You're paying 8 for the best corner in the league when you're paying right now 12 and 13 for Bradbury and Slay. By the way, I bring in Surtain. Bradbury's out of the starting lineup, and if he can't play slot, hey, that's a tough hit on the cap too. But I may need that roster spot. I may move him if I can. If not, I may cut him. The Broncos waved and sent out smoke signals about an hour ago. Am I right? You could have waited till next Tuesday to pick his option up. But you didn't. You did it 3 days from the draft. I get him on rookie deal, 2 more years. What do they want? They're going to want a 1. Give him a 1 and a 2. 22nd and the 53rd. You might even be able to stay at 22 and give them the 53rd and go, and then they take the 22 and the 12 and move up to 3. They could do that. They could make the same play that Minnesota did by getting 2 1s and moving up. I think Minnesota's moving up to the Charger pick. I think they're going to move up to get J.J. McCarthy at 5. I think they're going to move. Rodgers would be in a slot, though. Joe, you don't know how good that guy is. You're assuming. Don't put faith in things yet you haven't seen. I've seen Surtain play. I know who he is. I know what the player is. One thing I'll give Howie, he does a hell of a job at pro personnel. I'm just not a fan of him, college personnel. It's just not a fan of it. Especially, hey, and I showed you the last 2 years. I'm just not a fan of it. Just a thought, Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't played in the NFL yet. Brown's the top 3 wide receiver. Think about what you said. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't hate moving for Surtain. Anyone else, I'm probably going to be mad. Yeah, no, I'm not making a trade for somebody in the league right now. My need's at corner. That guy wants corners and linebackers. That's why I say you get Surtain, a linebacker, and here, this is what I would do in this draft if I were Howie. And how I would make my defense better. This has got to be a defensive-centric draft here. I would take that 22, 53rd, maybe move up to 16, send the 16th pick to the Denver Broncos for Patrick Surtain and your 53rd pick. At the end of the day, you get Surtain, you keep the 50th pick, you get a linebacker there, Percy Wilson or whomever. Then in the second, and then in the 4th round, you take 2 of those 5s, move into the 3rd round, and you pick up an edge rusher or an offensive tackle. Things littered with OTs, man. You could probably go 3 deep, and I'm talking 3 rounds deep, and find yourself a good old lineman in this draft. I don't really think there's like 20 good edge rushers. I think there's probably around 6. I'm not taking the 12th best edge rusher in the draft when I could get an offensive lineman that's probably one of the top 25 players in the draft. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. How do you think, Sills, do you think that the price could get as high as 2 first-rounders? Yeah, because of what Hutch, because of what they did today. You guys, I hope you understand that what the Denver Broncos did was without, now it's starting to get real. The Broncos could have waited or extended them. What'd they do? They picked up the I'll tell you this, if you're Patrick Surtain and you've had 2 all-pro years, are you happy? Are you happy? Has Devontae Smith been a Pro Bowler yet? And they gave him $25 million a year. And he's the number 2 guy on an offense. If you're Patrick Surtain and you're like, wait a minute, I'm all pro at corner. I'm the best player in my position in the league. And they picked up my option? What a slap in the face. That deal makes sense because Slay and Bradbury come off the cap next season. And our defense gets younger and no big contracts due. Only Surtain. Correct. There you go, Prince. Check it out. Contracts come off. He goes up to 14.5. 3rd year, you give him his $19 million. All pro corner at 25. What's the debate? I think they're setting this. Again, this is all going to be on Denver, though, loving a quarterback in this draft. So you have to be prepared to, is it Mitchell or Surtain? It's probably right there. Okay, if Denver doesn't budge, it's Mitchell at 16. I don't know, man. Mitchell could go anywhere between 13 and 17. He could go down there. What I don't want you to do is take Teron Arnold, who's the 2nd best corner. Now, the 2nd best running back in the draft, that guy Gibbs, turned out to be a pretty good back next to Bijan Robinson, did he not? Because he fit in that Detroit offense real well, right? So you're like, hey, Sills, that Gibbs kid was good from Bama. He's better than I thought he was. And he fit into that system really well. So taking the second best position player at that position, I thought was a gamble for Detroit. They gambled right. I think they even gambled right on that kid Campbell that they got at the linebacker spot. Right? Howie is excellent at this stuff. You got to think like him. He doesn't want to draft a corner, I don't think. Why? Didn't he say that at his press conference? We have gained success. Am I right when I say this? Unconventionally, which means he made deals in the secondary. Well, okay. Well, here's one. Denver has clearly sent smoke signals that, hey, don't be shocked if the 49ers land on him because they want him too. 49ers and the Eagles were two teams that called prior to the trading deadline. M. Johnson goes, I'm available for the league minimum. Hey, M. Johnson, I'm available for the practice squad roster. How you doing? Right? So if you want one of those boss LBs, going to have to trade up. No, I think you've got 2 2s, man. You got a 53 and a 50. I'm not giving both of them. I need one of those for a backer. I'm even cool with the kid from Carolina or Kentucky. Or the kid Colson from Michigan. I'm all right with, he's not bad also. Played very good for that Michigan team. Do not be shocked. And remember something. John Lynch has an exceptional relationship with the Denver Broncos. He played there. They love him in Denver. So it would not shock. Surtain could land in Philly or San Francisco. Let me take a timeout. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.